More on that breaking news just in our newsroom. A judge dismissing the charges against both former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Leticia James. The judge finding the prosecutor in those cases, Lindsay Halligan, was illegally appointed, meaning any actions she's taken as acting U.S. attorney were unlawful. Courts and legal reporter with The Hill, Zach Schoenfeld, is with me now to help me break all of this down. Zach, all of this really hot off the presses. Let's start at the beginning with this breaking news on the judge throwing out the charges against former FBI Director James Comey and Leticia James, saying that Halligan is accused of lying to Congress, saying that, Comey lied to Congress when he testified that he never authorized FBI officials to leak information to the press. What are you learning, and what has the White House said in response to this?
Hey, good afternoon, Nick. This ruling just coming down from this judge here in just the last few minutes, dismissing both these high-profile prosecutions against both James Comey and Leticia James. Both of these rulings, they're very similar. It's for the same reason, saying that a U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia who has brought both of these indictments, Lindsay Halligan, was unlawfully appointed. So this ruling at its core really has nothing to do with the actual merits of these criminal allegations against Comey and James, whether it be the lying to Congress allegations against James Comey or the mortgage fraud accusations against Leticia James. They deny that, of course, but instead this ruling is really saying that this U.S. attorney was never lawfully appointed in the first place. And so all of these actions, specifically when she went before those grand juries to seek those indictments, that all of that is invalid and that these charges all have to be dismissed.
Zach, I'm glad that you said that this has nothing to do with whether or not the merits of the case were valid or invalid. The judge is saying before we even go any further than that, if I'm understanding you correctly, the person who brought these charges never should have been in that role.
That's right. And in fact, another thing that has been making a lot of news in recent days, specifically about James Comey's case, was a lot about what happened in those grand jury proceedings. There have been questions about, the transcripts of those proceedings, whether the grand jury actually saw the final indictment that was eventually handed up to the judge. The government at one point had conceded that it was not shown. Then they submitted a filing reversing, saying that it was. But this ruling is instead totally on a different thread. In fact, it's actually even by a different judge, because this issue had to dealt with Lindsay Halligan's appointment. It gets into a bit of a unique circumstance where they actually have to pull in a judge from a different court to adjudicate this. So this is Judge Cameron Curry, a judge who normally would serve in South Carolina and is an appointee of former President Bill Clinton.
And Zach, not to get too into the weeds, but this may have even saved Ms. Halligan any kind of retribution on her end legally, because if indeed that indictment had been changed like the judge had suggested, that could have had her censured or brought up on legal charges of her own. Do you believe these charges will be appealed, though?
I think, the Justice Department, although we haven't heard from them quite yet, you'd imagine that they are likely going to appeal this. Obviously, we've seen them in all sorts of cases. Usually we're talking about civil lawsuits and challenges to Trump administration policies. Here we are talking about criminal prosecution, so a bit of a different bucket. But still, we see the Trump administration, never being afraid to appeal things. But certainly that is the top question right now as to whether they will appeal this ruling and start trying to get these prosecutions potentially revived.
And Zach, by all accounts, both Comey and James, formidable opponents to the president, who are very versed in legalese and had strong defense teams of their own. Comey, in his defense, had planned to talk about vindictive prosecution. We didn't even get to hear it that far, right? What reaction are you hearing, and how does this look?
Yeah, that's right. All these other issues that we've been talking about ever since these charges were brought, we didn't even get to those. Now, those motions we expected to be decided soon, but this is really, the first one out of the gate. Now, I will also say the timing here, it was expected. The judge had indicated that they would be ruling in advance of Thanksgiving, so we knew it would be coming this week. But if this ruling is allowed to stand, all of that other stuff, including the vindictive prosecution motions that you mentioned, Nick, we'd never get to. And of course, now, if the Justice Department does want to appeal and they win, of course, that would be the next roadblock that they'd have to get through. All of those motions would still have to be adjudicated. So if these prosecutions ever do get to trial, it certainly seems that there would be a long road ahead, even if they are revived someday.
Zach, I've got less than 30 seconds, but I do want to ask you, do you expect any type of legal action from either James or Comey back at the Justice Department because of what they called a vindictive prosecution?
They certainly may try, but at this point, I think that is still a bit unclear. We haven't heard from either of them vowing to do so. I think in those types of lawsuits, there sometimes can be a very high bar to bring them. But certainly that is going to be one of the questions now as these cases, at least as of now, are fizzling out.
Okay, so Leticia James and James Comey live to fight another day. The judge in their case ruling that dismissing their case. There's really no ruling. Dismissing their case, finding on the grounds that the federal prosecutor who brought the charges against Comey and Leticia James was actually illegally appointed. She was actually appointed after President Trump urged Pam Bondi to bring charges against Leticia James and James Comey. So basically, they're not off. They didn't get off. There was no ruling. There was no evidence. There was really no trial, right? And they got off on a technicality. The case got dismissed on a technicality. But guess what? Donald Trump's going to do what he does best. He's going to appeal the ruling of the case being dismissed. And I would guess that they are going to retry this case or charge these two again sooner rather than later. I believe personally that Leticia James is caught dead to rights on committing mortgage fraud. James Comey, it's a little bit more in the weeds. I would have to do more research, but we all basically know what Leticia James is being accused of. And I'm not going to lie to you. The way she's acting, her behavior since being indicted, she's coming off to me like someone who knows she's caught, right? That's something that I don't think any logical thinking human being is going to push back against or dispute. But I had to cover this, even though I know a lot of people might not even be paying attention to this, because why do I see all these black women online like celebrating like Moses just parted the Red Sea? Oh yeah, Trumper was wrong. All Trump does is lie. Yeah. Well, how do we come to the conclusion that Trump was lying? How do we come to the conclusion that Leticia James is innocent? The judges just said, hey, the federal prosecutor who was appointed was illegally appointed. So we're not even going to hear the arguments for this case. And they're dismissing the case on those grounds. Leticia James is, I'm sure, very much afraid of them bringing those charges against her again. She's very much afraid of getting indicted again. And I'm sure Comey is afraid to get indicted again, because Comey wasn't even, his defense in the case was, hey, these lawsuits are retaliatory. His defense in the case is not, I didn't do what they're accusing me of doing, which is what any law-abiding citizen would argue. Hey, you're saying I murdered someone, I didn't do it, and here's the evidence. You can't go to a murder trial and say, well, they're only bringing these charges against me because they're mad about what happened last week. But we see that this is the argument of the Democrats. I'm at the point where I'm starting to think anything that they're accusing these leftists of doing, I'm starting to believe is true. I'm really starting to believe it's true, because I don't know what has gotten into people on the Democrat side. I mean, you have the one representative in Florida. She's stealing $5 million from FEMA. Like, you really thought that they weren't going to catch you? You really thought $5 million was just going to disappear in this environment where everything's being scrutinized and investigated? You really thought that $5 million was going to disappear when your side, the left, is screaming, well, Trump's not reducing inflation. Trump's not bringing down the national debt. Listen, our country right now is literally in between the cushions of the couch, looking for whatever change they could scrape up to help reduce this deficit so that Donald Trump doesn't look like an absolute fool, come midterms. How did you believe that you were going to get away with this? Oh, wait, I know how they thought they were going to get away with it. They thought Joe Biden was going to get reelected. They thought either Joe Biden or Kamala Harris was going to get reelected, and they thought that would give them the opportunity to skate by with stealing the American people's money, as long as they do what? Pay up some to the cause. If you look at the representative in Florida, she literally stole $5 million of FEMA's money to give to people in her constituency and have them donate the money back to her campaign. And when the Democrats get money in their campaign, whatever surplus they have after being elected, well, they give that money to the DNC. They go and they take that money and say, hey, I got $1 million or $2 million left over. Let me give this to the DNC. And that's how they get in favor with the top brass or the upper brass in the Democrat National Convention. That's how they move up the ranks as far as who gets appointed to what and who gets to lead what committees, all these things. This is why you're hearing so much noise about Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is a great fundraiser for the DNC. You might say, oh, she's dumb, she's this, she's that, right? But one thing Jasmine Crockett is not afraid to do, she's not afraid to beg for money. I mean, it's almost shameful the way she gets on Instagram, Facebook, and she's like, oh, we need money. Can you spare $5? Can you spare $10, $20? The woman is a modern day hobo. She's a modern day transient as far as politics is concerned, because she's constantly asking for money. And when you look at the fact that the Democrats were begging Jeffrey Epstein for money, even though they said that Trump was the one in cahoots with him, you quickly understand that the Democrat Party is basically just sold to the highest bidder. They don't care how things end up. They are there for the purpose of serving whoever gives them the most money. Whereas you can see the Republicans, they time and time again tend to underperform and be outperformed by the Democrat Party when it comes to fundraising. I mean, Kamala Harris, think, a woman who couldn't string 2 sentences together, a woman who couldn't do what I'm doing right now off the top of my head. She couldn't do this in rooms filled with thousands of people. This woman managed to raise $1 billion for a campaign. Well, think about it. That's one of the main reasons why she was the nominee. Because now they're saying, oh, she's in debt now. Her campaign is in debt. And the DNC is coming back and saying, oh, we'll pay off some of the balance of your debt. They're not paying off crap. The DNC will somehow write that off. And then the money that she made, a lot of that went to the Democrat National Convention to help go after seats that are held by Republicans. Why do you think they're so confident? We're going to win in the midterms. We're going to win because they're going to throw millions and millions of dollars into the midterm elections in the hope of taking back either the House or the Senate. But this is what this is all about. Everything is a money grab. Notice with Leticia James, her indictment of Trump. She didn't do that just because she thought she would win. She took Trump to civil court because she knew it would be easier to get a ruling in her favor. And once they got a ruling in their favor, they would be able to hit Trump up for millions and millions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars. So when you look at these people, understand something. Money is what is motivating them. They don't care about what you want. They don't care about what you need. They don't care about you getting your food stamps every month. They don't care about your health care. They sit down and brainstorm. How can we get more money out of the American people by lying to them and making them believe that we actually give a damn about what's happening to them? And I promise you, every time I'm scrolling through Instagram, Jasmine Crockett, I almost said Jasmine Sullivan. Jasmine Crockett is on there begging for money. And I'm literally like, yo, does this woman ever go to her district? Does she ever actually do anything in Texas? You know, there are people who support Jasmine Crockett. They're online defending her. But if you ask them, hey, what area of Texas does she represent? Or even what state is Jasmine Crockett a congresswoman out of? Guess what? Guess what? They don't know. They have no clue. They have no clue. And if you listen to her videos of her begging for money, you got people in there, oh yeah, when I get paid, I'm going to send you this much. When I get paid, I'm going to send you that much. And I'm just like, do these people even realize that everything they're doing is only perpetuating the problems that they say that they're tired, the problems that they complain about? That's all. I mean, you keep giving them money and you keep voting for them, and then you complain about the things that they're doing. They don't care. Jasmine Crockett is like, she's already rich. Her net worth has increased exponentially since she became a congresswoman. It's just gone up a ridiculous amount. And she's still begging for money. Isn't it crazy how these socialists, they believe in socialism? And I honestly don't think Jasmine Crockett believes in anything. But Jasmine Crockett, you know, she goes along with the Democrat socialist narrative. And it's like, why does it always end with her begging for money? Every single time. I have not seen this woman on anything, on any video where she wasn't like, yo, we need some money. We need some money. We need some money. Every time. And if you look at her her Instagram, let's look at her Instagram really quick. If you look at her Instagram, what do you see? Boom. Right there. JasmineForUs.com. Go purchase merch and donate here. But I bet you if you click any of these any of these links, all of them have a donation portal where you can go and give her money. My question is, what have the Democrats actually done? And what do they plan to do to justify begging for money nonstop? I'm still trying to figure out that one. Maybe you guys know, because I don't. But can anyone watching this, can any of you think of anything that the Democrat Party has done or even proposed in the last 4 or 5 years that would warrant them constantly begging you for money? So basically, they're collecting your money just so they can beat Trump. I'm going to go to this Jasmine For Us website. I'm going to go up. Here we go. So let's go to the Jasmine For Us, right? Leticia James was begging for money. She was out here begging for $5 when she first got indicted. Oh, if you have anything, $5. Girl, why don't you sell one of those houses that you done bought? You could get a couple $100,000 out of those, but you want to come beg me for my last $5. Y'all make that make sense to me. Y'all make that make sense. You're begging me for money, but your net worth is in the multiple millions of dollars. And you're not begging me for money because you're like, hey guys, we're trying to fix the Brooklyn Bridge, or we're trying to get rid of these potholes in in Manhattan. No, you're begging me for money so you can just do God knows what with it. They never tell you what they're going to do with the money. But I'll tell you, if you go to the Jasmine for Us website, guess what? Bam, contribute. Volunteer, which she'll probably send you around begging for money. And then here's the link, contribute. That is what the Democrat Party is all about. That's what they want. They're never going to do anything for you. All they're going to do is allow illegal immigrants into the country, and they're going to make sure you pay for it. That's it. I mean, this girl couldn't even spend time to get a professionally made website. This is clearly Wix. But she's just like, I don't really need a website. All I need is a place to beg. Let's go back here. So we got the JasmineForUs.com. So we went on there and she's already begging, right? We went on there, she's already begging. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so go purchase merch. She wants you to buy some garbage. This says don't hear. Let's go to the organizing rally. Maybe this is just about organizing an event, right? Maybe that's what that's about. Hey, she wants you to come, show up, show out at her event where she's gonna get up there, hoop, holler, act ghetto, right? Let's go to see the details. So let me make sure you guys can see that. Okay, so we're going to her event. Organizing down. Well, this was way back on August 14th. So that's old already. This event has ended. So let's see. Let's see if we can find another donation portal on here, which it might be removed because this is old. But I'm pretty sure accessibility, involve, and be a part of something. With so much at stake, the time is to act is now. What's at stake? That's my question. What is at stake, Jasmine? Tell me what's going to happen. But do you always notice that they focus on the person, but they never focus on what the person is doing? They never focus on what the person is doing. I mean, I could understand if, Trump was like hurting people, but they're just like, nah, Trump is bad. Okay. Trump's bad. Okay, what do you plan on doing? You know what? They're never going to tell you. She must have not got much money for this event because she ain't organized another one yet. But they can never say, Trump is hurting illegal immigrants. Trump is deporting people and breaking apart families. But they never say, okay, but this is what I'm going to do instead of that, because they know if they tell you the truth about their intentions, if they say, hey, I'm going to let the illegals come here. I'm going to let the illegals enter this country unimpeded. I want them to all get amnesty. I want the DACA kids to be reunited with their family. They know that the majority of Americans won't support them. So let's keep calling out what Trump is doing wrong and how he's hurting people while hiding our hand and never telling you what it is that we plan to do. Right? They never tell you what it is that they plan to do. So believe me, with as much money as the Democrat Party is collecting and as money hungry as they are, there's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. Why do you think they were so adamant about going after Doge? Dude, why would I care if I'm a politician? Why would I care if the government is doing an audit? I worked in a grocery store for 7 years. I was a manager for 4 of those years, right? I didn't give a damn about them doing an audit at the store. I wasn't taking anything. You could audit this hoe every day if you want to. You're never going to find me taking anything. You're never going to find, me stealing, me pilfering, stealing product. You're never going to find that. So I didn't care. So to me, the only people who have an issue with their job doing an audit are people who are stealing and they're afraid of getting caught. And this is exactly what's going on with Leticia James. This lady was operating under Biden. She knew she basically had a get out of jail free card. She knew that the DOJ would never come after her under Biden. So she thought she would do a little bit of mortgage fraud, to get an unfair advantage over everybody else. And guess what? She got busted. And she walked out of that courtroom, but I know in the back of her mind, she's worried as hell. Because she didn't get off because she didn't do anything. She simply got off because of a mistake that Pam Bondi made when she chose the prosecutor who was going to indict Leticia James. So just stay tuned for that. More is coming with that. Black women and everybody else who supports these corrupt people, don't toot your horn too soon, because it's coming. It's on its way. These indictments are about to find their mark, and you're going to see some of these corrupt politicians going to jail. You're going to see these people going to jail. And they celebrate the downfall of Republicans. They make jokes, they crack jokes. It's all a distraction. They know they're caught, dead to rights. They know they've been they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak. And so they got to try to distract you. Oh, Epstein. Trump is he waddles like a duck and all this other nonsense. These people are done. The only thing is Trump is trying to go a little bit too fast. And so they're slipping through the cracks a little bit because, you got to follow the process. You got to honor the procedures. But when we opened up the Epstein files, something the Democrats were throwing at Trump, Trump's in the Epstein files. He's in the Epstein files. What did we find? What do we find? All we find is Democrats taking money from Jeffrey Epstein. So now I'm ready to open up all the books. I'm ready to open up everything and see what's going on. And I know what we're going to find. Not that it matters to their voters. Not that it matters to their supporters. Their supporters couldn't care less what happens with them. They're literally just like, hey, I'm voting blue no matter who. I'm voting blue no matter who. And I was actually talking to my cousin this morning. He's old. He's like, Brandon, you need to do the research. I said, dude, listen, just shut up. You don't care about the research. You don't care about the facts. You don't care about the evidence. Why do people who don't care about the results of the research continue to tell people to do research? You 100% right, Zarth. Joe Biden fell flat down a flight of stairs on Air Force One. Why doesn't anyone mention that? Or when he slurred his words during his presidency? Or when he didn't know where he was and didn't know how to get off stage? Everybody saw it. But it's all about, with these people, it's all about maintaining the power. And it's not about maintaining the power so that they can take care of the American people. It's about maintaining the power so they have access to the money. That's about it. You want to get rich, become a Democrat. Not if you want to serve the American people. Not if you want to fight to build up your country and make it stronger. All they're talking about is come be a Democrat so we can put you to work, fundraising, begging for money, asking people to give you $5. I mean, I don't understand how multimillionaires, I truly don't understand how multimillionaires fix their lips to ask people who are poor, people who are struggling. They'll talk about an affordability crisis in America. Democrats talk about that. Oh, the affordability, right? But they'll still keep begging people for money. Listen, they'll continue begging people for money while they say, while they'll keep saying, hey, there's an affordability crisis. We don't have enough money. The American people are struggling, right? And it's like, nah, man, you guys don't care about the American people, because I'm not going to ask. Look at New York. Zohran Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani is like, Zohran Mamdani is like, oh, no one can afford to live in New York, but I need you to pay my bills. No one can afford to live in New York, but I need you to pay my political bills. It's absolutely wild. It makes no sense. But people just continue to fall for it, so they'll keep on doing it. That's how this works. Until you show them that you're sick of what they're doing and that the jig is up and you're not gonna take their abuse anymore, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna keep on abusing you because you're not stopping them and you're not putting your foot down. You're satisfied with being broke as long as you can be broke and mad at Donald Trump. Well, being mad at Donald Trump ain't putting no food on the table. But hey, if that's what makes you happy, be my guest. I honestly couldn't care less. But I'm just telling you, because hopefully maybe you'll wake up one day and smell the coffee and say, hey, look, man, I'm too broke to be listening to these people talking about giving my money to somebody else and giving them and talking about me giving them my money to give to some campaign. That's BS.
Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Not only has Secretary Noem been busy filming propaganda ads, she's also been busy cashing in on millions. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Not only has Secretary Noem been busy filming propaganda ads, she's also been busy cashing in on millions of taxpayer dollars. In fact, Secretary Noem has funneled millions of dollars to a company called the Strategy Group. The Strategy Group helped Secretary Noem win her campaign to become the governor of South Dakota. Corey Lewandowski, her top policy advisor, has worked with the firm, and the company's CEO is married to Secretary Noem's chief spokesperson, Mrs. Tricia McLaughlin. This is what corruption looks like. They're stealing money from the American people's pockets and depositing it into their bank accounts. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Not only has Secretary Noem been busy filming propaganda ads, she's also been busy cashing in on millions of taxpayer dollars. In fact, Secretary Noem has funneled millions of dollars to a company called the Strategy Group. The Strategy Group helped Secretary Noem win her campaign to become the governor of South Dakota. Corey Lewandowski, her top policy advisor, has worked with the firm, and the company's CEO is married to Secretary Noem's chief spokesperson, Mrs. Tricia McLaughlin. This is what corruption looks like. They're stealing money from the American people's pockets and depositing it into their bank accounts. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Not only has Secretary Noem been busy filming propaganda ads, she's also been busy cashing in on millions of
Sorry, that was repeating. So she can see everything that Kristi Noem is doing, right? But she can't see what the woman down in Florida was doing. Kristi Noem is sending money to a company that's a strategy company, a political strategy company. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Every person who runs for office, they hire political strategists. That's a part of it. But how is that stealing? Where are you proving? Oh, she's been funneling money here. You mean her campaign donations? Is that the money she's been funneling? And if she's been doing that, why haven't you brought charges against her? It's all about distraction. And what we're learning about the Democrat Party, y'all, we're learning that anything they accuse you of doing, they're doing it. Whatever they accuse the other side of doing, they're doing it. She's such a watchdog and a hawk, right? she's so on top of everything, right? But guess what? She missed when Sheila McCormick was stealing $5 million from FEMA. I'm telling you right now today, they knew about it. They knew about it. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to deny. Hey, if you get caught, we're going to disown you. But if you get away with it, make sure you send some money down to the DNC. Jasmine just has a different hustle. Her hustle is about donations. Let me just keep hitting people up for donations. That's all it's about. Hold on. I'm really trying to find one of these donation videos. I don't know if she does them and then takes them down, but this woman is always, I see it all the time. I'm scrolling through Instagram. And it's just like, hey, this is Representative Jasmine Crockett. Do you have $5? Like, she's like Felicia on Friday. The way she begs for money. And I'm just like, so you went to Washington not to serve the people. You didn't go to Washington to serve the people. You went to Washington to beg for money on behalf of the Democrat Party. Man, if I was one of her constituents, I'd be like, hey man, you need to leave. I think this is one of those donation videos. I think this is one of those donation videos. Let me see. Hey y'all, it's Jasmine Crockett. Give me some money. It's absolutely pathetic, if you ask me. It's absolutely pathetic. It sucks. In my opinion, I'm sure it sucks to be a Democrat. But this lady is very embarrassing. Let me play this real quick.
Hey y'all, it's Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, and today I'm giving you a house tour. All right, y'all, so we are going in the house.
Dang, I thought that for sure was a begging video where I don't know if she deletes these things or what, but every single time I see her page, and I'm not even following this chick. The only reason I'm not even following her, but the only reason I'm aware that she's even on Instagram is because her donation videos pop up. But for some reason tonight, I just can't find one. I don't know why, but let's see. So when you see these people begging for money constantly, that tells me that someone will do anything for money. And these politicians on the Democrat side, just the type of stuff they're getting caught for. You see why they're so angry and they're so quick to try to, oh man, Trump is doing this and look at this and Epstein files and everything. It's all a racket. These people are not becoming representatives to fight for the people. These people are becoming representatives to live a celebrity lifestyle.
Politics is so expensive right now that it costs so much to be in this game. Most people that look like me, especially Black women,
look at her expenses. Her luxury collection. Hold on, y'all got to be able to see this. Look at her. This is a video just detailing her expenses. And they're talking about you're having an affordability crisis. This is what Americans can't afford this. Well, give them some of your
Politics is so expensive right now that it costs so much to be in this game. Most people that look like me, especially Black women, we are the most underfunded candidates in the country, whether it's a city race, county race, state race, or federal race. We never get the money that our counterparts get. And so, Black women do what Black women do, which is we always stretch a dollar and we can make it go places that other people can't necessarily make it go. These poor souls that believe these crazies are doing something for them, they're giving their last 2 cents and donating to them, and they're able to build up their coffers and insulate themselves. Unlike most people that look like me.
Now mind that, unlike most people that look like me, unlike most people. She's not going to say unlike me because she's doing pretty well for herself. She's doing pretty well for herself. But look at where she's at. The Ritz-Carlton. This woman is out of control, man. The Ritz-Carlton, rolling around in limos. Oh, but most people can't afford to live like me. Donate them a little bit of your cash. But that is why they're getting caught with doing stuff like mortgage fraud, like what Leticia James is fighting right now. This chick is going down. She got off because of a technicality, and they're gonna retry her. They're gonna appeal it. They're gonna bring her back, and they're gonna convict her. Watch, mark my words. They're gonna convict this lady. Okay, so we have to move on because we got to talk about more fraud that's going on. You got the Somalis down in Minnesota. It's coming out that they've been funding terrorism in Somalia. They have all these like secret remittance sites and apps and programs where they're able to send money to Somalia. And every time they send money back to Somalia, Al-Shabaab and other terrorist groups are getting a cut. But why do we already know this? Whenever you see a group of people as militant as these Somalis are over in Minnesota, you know they're up to no good because they hate America.
Did money from Minnesota taxpayers earmarked to feed hungry children wind up in the hands of a Somali terrorist group? The allegations center around a massive welfare fraud case being brought in Minnesota. A 78th defendant was charged just today. And now reports are coming out that some of the stolen money may have wound up in the hands of Al-Shabaab, a Somali-based terror group. In response, President Trump says he intends to end deportation protections for about 700 Somali nationals in Minnesota, calling Minnesota a, quote, hub for Somali gang networks, though he's provided no evidence for that. So what are the facts on the ground? Investigative correspondent Rich McHugh is at the federal courthouse in Minneapolis, Minnesota for us tonight. Rich, what are you learning?
Hi, Elizabeth. Well, we're at the federal courthouse where that 78th indictment came down just a few hours ago. All of it tied to Feeding Our Future. That's the corrupt nonprofit at the center of all of this fraud. We spoke with current and former federal sources, and they tell us billions have been stolen since 2019, that Minnesota is just riddled with fraud, and that a lot of this money back to Somalia, and a cut of all that money has gone to the Al-Qaeda-linked terror group Al-Shabaab. But I want to reset this for viewers because it's complicated. This all stems from Feeding Our Future. That's the largest COVID fraud ever. These criminals opened more than 200 federal child nutrition program sites throughout Minnesota, and sites lied, claimed to be serving meals to thousands of children a day. They created fake attendance rosters, fake invoices, and the government reimbursed them. David Gaither, he's a former state senator here. He saw this firsthand.
Rich, this is the Safari restaurant in downtown Minneapolis. This is the epicenter of some of the biggest fraud and waste abuse in this area. The owner right now is currently in jail, federal jail. This restaurant seats about 35, supposedly serve 18,000 plus meals a day.
A day?
A day for 7 months. 18,000 plus.
Now,
Okay, so this food program, right? They're in Minnesota. They're telling the government, you know, they're operating under a nonprofit. They're getting money from the government, right? It's an emergency shelter that was set up, emergency food program that was set up during COVID, right? This guy, and I believe this case just got dismissed. This guy was lying, saying that he was feeding 18,000 people a day. This guy said, hey, I'm over here feeding 18,000 people a day. I need you, you know, this is why I need so much government money coming to this little food shelter. So what the investigators did was they did a stakeout on this place for months. And they said this guy wasn't even feeding 40 people a week, but he's getting money. He's getting money for feeding 18,000 people a day for the past 7 months. If you were feeding 18,000 people per day, how are these guys just walking around the building and there's no one outside? How are these guys walking around the building and there's no one outside? You should have a line of people for blocks. Just think about that. 18,000 people a day don't even go in a grocery store, and they're selling food. But this guy is feeding 18,000 people a day. It's pure fraud. It's pure fraud. And I'm glad Trump is putting an end to it.
Restaurant, which seats about 35, supposedly served 18,000 plus meals a day.
A day?
A day for 7 months. 18,000 plus.
Now, Minnesota Rep. Ilhan Omar, she was a fixture at this restaurant, the Safari, during her run for office. I think we have a photo of her at the restaurant with her supporters in 2018. Feeding Our Future, that's that corrupt nonprofit. It was the epicenter of it, but others spawned from it. There were home relocation services, child autism. They were bilking $399 million in services fraud in 2023 alone. To date, 86 people have been indicted and counting. Federal authorities tell News Nation 79 of them are of Somali descent.
We've been holding accountable those that are perpetrators of the crime, but we are not holding accountable those that created the opportunity to have those perps do what they did.
And that would be?
The policymaker, the attorney general, and the administration.
Now, federal sources that we've spoken to, several of them, said the same thing to me, Elizabeth. They say there's a saying in the Somali community here that when it rains in Minneapolis, umbrellas go up in Mogadishu. That just about sums it up. Back to you.
Wow, almost 100 people charged in this scheme so far. Rich McHugh reporting in Minneapolis. Thanks so much.
Thank you for.
A massive fraud scheme uncovered in Minnesota found money intended for social services has been allegedly siphoned indirectly into the pockets of the Somali terrorist group al-Shabaab. Somali immigrants in Minnesota have reportedly been abusing systems meant to help the most unfortunate among us, including the latest federally funded autism services. The autism fraud scheme reportedly amassed $14 million through Medicare claims for services that were never provided, involving kids who never had autism. And the Somali immigrants behind this web of schemes have allegedly stolen billions from taxpayers, much of the money going back to the Somali government, where it would then end up in the hands of terrorists. Manhattan Institute investigative reporter Ryan Thorpe was one of the first exposing the schemes for their ties to terrorism. With us now, Ryan, a line from your story stuck out. The largest funder of al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer, and you cite an unnamed source for that. What is the evidence that all of this money that was taken and the billions upon billions of increased funding in Minnesota for social services ended up in Somalia?
Well, billions of dollars of government welfare money is missing in the state of Minnesota.
How do we define missing?
Well, the fraud is so bad that the U.S. Attorney's Office has come out and indicated that they believe their entire government programs, where the fraudulent claims outstrip the legitimate ones. There are cases where indictments have come down or guilty pleas are already in to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars that were fraudulently obtained, filing false claims alongside doctored paperwork. And the indictments are continuing to come. And the U.S. Attorney's Office has made very clear that this is a network of fraud schemes stacked upon fraud schemes, and that while the true dollar figure in terms of stolen funds at this point isn't quite clear, it's safe to say that we're talking about billions of dollars. Okay.
It's pretty wild, some of the things that you lay out, including one group called Feeding the Future, that went from getting $3.4 million in 2019 to $200 million 2 years later. They grew faster than NVIDIA. How did nobody that, or that people and the government and those who are supposed to be the watchdogs, like Tim Walz, like Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, there just weren't looking?
I think it's safe to say that there was a real unwillingness or inability among Democratic state officials in Minnesota to recognize some pretty obvious alarm bells here. all across these programs, claims were skyrocketing, absolutely spiraling out of control over a short period of time. And the reality is that the Somali community, which is where these large-scale fraud rings have been concentrated within this population in the state, it is a sizable voting bloc. It is a voting bloc you have to win if you're going to win political office in Minneapolis. And so I think that was likely a incentive here that made some people not want to look too closely at what's been going on.
Wow. And that would explain why now it's the U.S. attorney looking into it rather than the state law enforcement or state fraud investigators. Is there any indication, Ryan, as you get, and obviously, it's one of those things you drop an investigative piece, and then all of a sudden you get 1,000 more tips that this goes higher, like actually into state government? You get the last 30 seconds.
I can't confirm that. So I don't want to get out in front of my skis here. What I can say is that this story has generated additional tips, and it is something that we are continuing to look into as we push forward with our efforts to expose the fraud rings that have been taking advantage of the generosity of Minnesota taxpayers.
Yeah, stunning also how little pickup this has gotten around the country in terms of the rest of the media. Applaud your guys' continued work on it. Ryan, come back and talk to us as you uncover more, all right?
Excellent. Oh, yeah, it's not going to get any media coverage because why? Listen, what we're learning is that there is a national ring of fraud being run, or at the very least, being permitted to exist and run and operate under the Democrat Party. Every time you turn around, you have a Democrat being busted for fraud. I'm asking you a very simple question. Where are all the Republicans committing fraud? You keep telling me, oh, the Republicans, they're bad. Donald Trump is evil. This is what you keep telling me. And I promise you, I want to believe you. I want to find common ground, something we can all agree on, right? But I just don't see the evidence. You guys say, oh, the Republicans are bad. Oh, look, heavily Democratic Minnesota. Somalis over there just pillaging the taxpayer dollars. And then you get money from the federal government for things like autism and all that. And these people are stealing $399 million. $399 million. And you wonder why inflation is high? You wonder why there's a deficit? We hear deficit and we say, oh, who do we owe? What countries do we owe? Nah, man, you hear deficit. You need to be looking at how much money we're wasting within America. And how much of that money is, being stolen within America and then going out to other countries like Somalia. You think Somalians want to build their country? They don't. They don't care. Somalians, to me, are like Haitians. They don't give a damn about building up their country. They just want to come to your country and tear it up. They gave up on their country a long time ago. And now they want to come over here and make this country or that little area, that state, Minnesota, they want to make that country a tiny replica of what their country looks like. I go to Kenya. There's a bunch of Somalis over there. I literally think, okay, you guys are in Kenya, living, working, opening businesses. Dude, your country's like a couple 100 miles away. Why don't you just go over there and do the same exact thing? Because they gave up on their country. They gave up on their country. What they want to do is they want to come to other countries, make money, and then send it back to their countries to perpetuate the violence and bloodshed and killing, right? The killing that's going on over there. But using the violence and bloodshed and killing as an excuse to come over here or other countries and stay here. Think about it. Just think about it. If they created a peaceful situation in Somalia, right? Well, they wouldn't need protective status from deportation. The Somalis who are here, and they're not citizens, but they've been given like temporary residency and things like that. Why would they want to see Somalia at peace? As soon as Somalia is at peace, they got to go back. They don't want to go back. So why wouldn't they continue to fund the destruction and violence that's over in that country? That's the easiest way to get the hell out. A Kenyan can't leave Kenya and get protected status in America. They'll say, well, there's no reason for us to give you protected status in America. Your country's cool. It's peaceful. There's no real politically motivated violence. There's the country is taking active steps to surveil and stop terrorism. They're working with the United States, signing security deals with the United States to help fight terrorism. You don't need protected status here. They want their country to do well over there. But what you guys have to understand, there are many people who want to see their country continue to fail because that's how they stay inside of America. So it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. When it comes to these Somalis, they'll talk about how great they're like Mexicans with Mexico. They'll talk about how great Somalia is, right? They'll talk about how amazing Mexico is, but they don't ever want to go there. Oh, Mexico's the best, but I don't want to go live over there. As a matter of fact, I'll keep sending money back over there to keep Mexico messed up. So I'll have an excuse to keep coming over here. It's like somebody who don't buy food, so they'll have an excuse to keep coming over your house to eat dinner every night. Oh, man, I was trying to make it to the store, dog. But you know what? I got so busy, I didn't get a chance to stop by the store. Hey, what you making for dinner tonight? It's literally orchestrated. It's orchestrated. They get to come over here, take over Minnesota. And I'm telling you, when I tell you there are Somalians in Kenya who be sitting up like, man, I want to go to Minnesota. I want to go to Minnesota. These dudes ain't never even seen snow, but they talking about they want to go to Minnesota. They basically are being told by their brethren from Minnesota, hey, man, the party's over here. This is where we cleaning up, making money. They getting truck driver's licenses and everything. You know how many Somalians have CDLs? Driving trucks. And I'm not mad at those people. You know, they're working hard, you know, to make a living. I respect that. But at the same time, why do you get to continue to exhaust American resources? Instead of, once you got the money, I mean, they done stole $399 million. You would think they would be able to go back there and do something. I think for $400 million, you could take over the Somali government. You can win an election with $399 million. They don't care about that. They don't care about that. Their whole goal, their entire goal is one thing: come to America, pilfer American tax dollars, move those American tax dollars to Somalia to continue to fund the terrorism, and that gives you that keeps you safely within the United States, where you can continue to perpetuate that process. It sucks. The system is broken. Any country where you have terrorism, let me tell you something. There is a significant amount of the population that is supporting those terrorists. You cannot have a terrorist. Terrorists cannot exist in a country if you do not have a significant part of the population supporting those terrorists. Look at Black Lives Matter. Look at Antifa. Look at all these domestic terrorist groups, I call them. Look, there's a bunch of voters who support these groups. They don't care if they're burning down cities. They don't care if they're killing people and hurting people and beating people up and attacking police officers and doing sniper attacks on Charlie Kirk and Homeland Security. There's a significant part of the population who supports and funds and endorses these groups. The same situation exists in Somalia, y'all. It ain't no different. They might not want to be ducking bullets every day, but at their core, they support the people doing the shooting and the killing and the robbing. They support the Somali pirates because these people don't come to America to assimilate within the fabric of the country. They come to America to be in close proximity to the money, the wealth, so that they can get a piece of the wealth and funnel it back to the terrorists they support. That's all this is about. So I hope Donald Trump does something about that sooner rather than later. I support him revoking their protected status 1,000%. We've been hearing about the Somali gangs in Minnesota and Minneapolis for like almost a decade now. All of a sudden, oh, there's no evidence of that going on. What are you talking about? They literally have like documentaries talking about that. These people are on YouTube. A bunch of skinny, light-skinned dudes talking like they drill rappers. But everything is, oh, it hasn't been confirmed, and we don't know if that's true. Oh, it's true. It's been confirmed. And that's why I'm telling you, the media is in cahoots on this mess. They're 100% in cahoots with this. They don't care about the safety of Americans because the chaos brings views. The views bring money. And that's one of the darkest situations in America, where negativity and violence and death brings views. And so you see people operating in a way that either indirectly or directly promotes it. And then they hide their hands like, oh, we don't know anything about that. Talking in a roundabout way, so it's not, clear that they're promoting things like Charlie Kirk getting killed or election or political violence. But we know they are. Look at Rachel Maddow. Look at Joe Scarborough. Look at people like Rashad Ritchie. Look at people like Roland Martin. This is all they do. Sensationalize and spin without any consideration of what the consequences will be. They don't care. All right. So, yes, Somalis over here stealing from the government. $399 million. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, now we got to go. You guys know my saying. Be careful what you wish for. Women. Excuse me. Women. Y'all got out here acting a fool. Trans women are women. Trans women are women. We got to fight for trans rights. We got to fight the patriarchy. Right? Women got out here in defiance of men in the patriarchy. They got out here promoting and supporting all types of nonsense and skullduggery. And now their chickens are coming home to roost. That's the only way I could describe it. We just saw a situation. We just saw a situation unfold over the past couple of days where a man named Jamie Booker went to Texas. He went to Arlington, Texas, and defeated, this is a biological man now, a trans woman, but a man. He went to Arlington, Texas, and defeated the strongest women in the world effortlessly, competing as a transgender woman, and was able to secure the world's strongest woman title. I mean, it's like one of those things where you got to laugh to keep from crying. This man was able to go to Texas, whoop on a bunch of females, and he did it easily. Broke some records too, I heard, and beat the strongest women in the world to take their title. Let's tap into this real quick. Oh, man, I'm telling you, women, if y'all could get past y'all pride, if y'all could get past y'all hatred of men, the women who support this mess, not all women, if y'all could get past y'all hatred of men, it would do you a lot of good. It would do you a lot of good, because this is just getting sadder and sadder and more pathetic by the day.
So women don't get a whole lot of respect or appreciation or payment in this sport, you know, strongman / strong woman in my case. But apparently what we do get is more TikTok followers. I have like 40,000 more TikTok followers than the world's strongest man. In fairness, he has way more Instagram followers than I do, but that's weird, right? How you guys like me a lot, I guess.
Second place winner for a World's Strongest Woman competition stormed off furious after a trans woman won instead of her. Now, this all took place during the World Finals, and you can see as they're posing to take the picture, the runner-up is standing there and says, "This is BS, can we go?" before eventually just stalking off upset. The funny thing is, the picture that was taken for all the winners was happening just moments before she stormed off stage, and as you look at the picture, all the other women are smiling until you get to her, and you can tell she is pissed off. Now, she says the biggest reason she's upset is because she was kept in the dark that this person was transgender up until the finals before it was finally revealed. Not only that, but there are rumors going around that the trans woman who ended up winning the competition didn't even tell the event organizers, and they only found out after they found her old YouTube video where she announced that she was transgender. Now, it is a well-debated issue whether trans people should or should not be able to compete in sports, but I think we can all agree hiding the fact that you're transgender just so you can enter into a sports competition and bypass any rules and regulations about being transgender should never be allowed. So I get why the runner-up for the World Finals felt like she was gypped when she didn't get the championship.
Boy. So we got to talk about
Okay, let's we got to give the World's Strongest Woman competition a little bit of a break. They didn't know that this was a man until basically the final, and somebody brought up this guy's social media, and he's on there saying he's a transgender, right? And he's operating like a woman, he's acting like a woman. But I promise you, I've never even seen a Samoan or a Scandinavian woman built like this man. This dude actually has some muscle under all that fat. But I could look at this
story straight out of.
I could look at this guy for 2 seconds, and it's pretty obvious that he's a dude. I mean, you do have some women with strong chins. You do have some women with strong chins, but ain't no woman got a chin that strong. This guy is just built like a big sloppy man, and he's putting on Walmart sweats and tucking his wiener, and people, it's like Clark Kent becoming Superman. Bro, just because a dude puts on Walmart pants and tucks it, that doesn't mean you can't tell this guy's a man. I mean, look at the guy's shoulders, and he has boobs, but I don't think those are hormone induced. I think he's just a fat ass.
And it was an honor just to even share the stage with you and be there to cheer you on and be cheered on by you. I'm gonna cry. I'm trying very hard not to. I also want to say thank you to all the athletes, both in my own gym and especially over at Dungeon, who have given me some really impressive pointers over the past few months, in particular of things like stones and circus dumbbells. My performance today would not have happened without you. So this is just as much your award as it is mine. I genuinely did not expect this outcome, and I'm not saying that in a way to gloat or be prideful. When I signed up for this competition, I did not expect to win. It was a pipe dream. Obviously, everyone enters competition wanting to win. But I did not think that this would be the one for me, and the fact that it is.
Bro, how did you not expect to win? You're a 28-year-old man. That's a man in his prime. They say between 26 and 30, like 32, that's your prime. Bro's in his prime going up against a woman who's 42 years old. I mean, she's older. She's 42. And she's a woman, and you're a man. I mean, there's guys who could come in probably off the street and give this chick a run for her money. But any guy who's like 300 plus pounds, because this guy is clearly over 300 pounds, any guy who's 300 plus pounds, and he's tall too, I don't think he's going to have a hard time beating a woman in a strong woman competition. You're able to lift effortlessly, well, with minimal effort, what she's struggling to lift with after training for the majority of her life. This woman's been training for years. Bro just casually showed up and beat her and talk about, oh, it's he's really doing the whole, it was an honor to share the stage with you. This dude needs his ass whooped. People say, oh man, everybody wants to hurt transgenders. Everybody don't want to hurt transgenders, but it definitely make you want to whoop a transgender person's ass when they do some stuff like this. This guy where's this dude's daddy at? This guy had to be raised by a single mother. It was an honor to share the stage with you. And then I didn't expect to win this, bro. You a 300-pound dude that's lifting. What did you expect to do? Go in there and pull a hamstring?
I'm genuinely at a loss for words. I don't know what comes next. I don't know where I'll compete next. I don't know what I'll lift next. I don't even know what I'll do in an hour from now. I just want to say thank you to all of you from the bottom of
typical young, ignorant, entitled, liberal weirdo. I don't even know what I'm going to do an hour from now. I'll probably go play women's basketball and elbow the shit out of them and just lay the ball up with ease. See, this is what's wrong with people like the Liam guy, the guy who won the NCAA championship. Leah, I forgot, Leah Thomas, and people like him. They're casually entering into something and just destroying people's lives who have been working for years, sometimes even a decade or more, to get to the point where they can compete in these competitions. I just want to look up something really quick. I want to look up the women's world record lifts, right? All right, so let's do this right here. I'm gonna share this, and we'll get back to the video. But we're gonna pull up the women's world record lifts just to put this in some perspective. So the women's world record lifts include Tamara Walcott's total lift of 737.5 kgs, right? 1,620 pounds in the 90 kilogram class, and Lucy's underdowns raw deadlift of 318 kilograms. That's 700 pounds, right? In Olympic weightlifting, Kim Il-young holds the world record total for 236 kilograms. And in powerlifting, Carlina Togade holds the record for the 72 kilogram class with a total of 533 kgs, right? Now, what I want to say is this. When you look at these lifts, you can, it sometimes can be a little bit confusing because you hear the kilograms and you're like, wow, that's a lot. But what they're doing is they're combining all the lifts together. That's why it's like, oh, 1,600 pounds and all that. That's what makes people confused. They're combining all their lifts. They're not telling you what they're actually lifting in a single lift. Because if they did that, right, it wouldn't be impressive. No one would be like, yo, this is a lot of weight. You understand? No one would be like, oh, that is an amazing thing that she did. They'll be like, nah, I know some dudes who can throw that up. So we'll go to like the heaviest women, right? And this would be in the open. We'll go here. This is for 148, 198. Okay, I think this is the heaviest one. So powerlifting, right? This is women who weigh 200 pounds and above. And you guys aren't going to be able to see this very clearly, but just bear with me. This is women who weigh 200 pounds and above, right? Now, this is Victoria Vasquez. Or no, let's go to the upper age. Okay. Yeah, let's get up here. So let's say the women lifting the heaviest are the women between the age of 20 and 24 years old. Those are the women that are lifting the heaviest, right? The heaviest squat, the person who lifted the most lifted 490 pounds on a squat. That means with their legs, the biggest, most strongest woman in the world only could lift 490 pounds. Bro, I'm going to put that in perspective. I can take 315 pounds and I could squat that 20 times in a row and not even be gassed or winded. This woman, literally, that's like the highest lift on squat in the competition, 490. I could squat 490 like it's nothing. When I was squatting a lot and really getting up there, I was squatting like 740, 800 pounds. The strongest woman is barely squatting over half that in the prime of her life. This is if you go to the bench press, and I'm making this smaller. If you go to the bench press, the heaviest lifts are going to be, okay, so the heaviest lifts on this are in the 35 to 39 age group. Brandy Sneed, hold on, I'm tripping. Wait, 374. Okay, yeah. The bench press, 231 pounds. 231 pounds. That's the heaviest lift. See, so these are women who are like in the Olympics. These are women in the Olympics. And their highest deadlift is their highest deadlift is so their highest deadlift is 451. 451 pounds by Copper Carter. She's 20 years old. And their highest, and then they add up all that weight, and based on the combined totals, they'll get over 1,000. To put it in more perspective, we were lifting over 1,000 pounds when we were in high school in the 10th grade. We had a thing called the 1,000-pound club. And in order to get in there, you had to do 3 combined lifts, and the lifts had to total over 1,000 pounds. And this is just young dudes casually lifting for football. And we're easily crushing the strongest women in the world. So what do you think this big 300-pound idiot was going to do? Oh, I didn't know I was going to win. Bro, what are you talking about? You knew you were going to win the minute they allowed you to enter the competition. He's just a liar, and he's just dishonest. He knew he was going to win the minute they let him enter the competition.
Of my heart. It's really surreal. And that's it. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Morgan Irons, and I'm a pro-strong woman from the United States. And I came on here to address the issue that has been brought to light within the strongman community within the last 24 hours. There has been an individual, Jamie Booker, who has been competing as a biological male within the women's division of strongman. I just want to preface with the fact that I have no ill will or hatred towards the trans community in any way, shape, or form. You are free to be exactly who you want to be in this world, as am I. But at the end of the day, this comes down to a lack of transparency and honesty. This individual competed in the women's division as a biological man, plain and simple. As a woman, this is very, very frustrating because their participation in the women's division has taken away prize money, podium finishes, national bids, and a pro card from biological women. The individual at hand has also raised money under false pretenses to get to these competitions, with many contributions coming from women within the sport. This needs to be addressed as soon as possible by every federation in the sport to protect us. If we do not come together and fight this, we will be erased, and everything that women have fought tooth and nail for to get here will be void. I urge you to stand with women and protect us. We can do this without being hateful, but we need to have a unified stance on this and stand with resolve. Please help us protect women's sports.
Yeah, so it really is a shame that we still live in a country where you have to make all these disclaimers before telling the truth about trans athletes, right? Well, see, I'm not doing this because I hate trans people, because I'm trying to be transphobic. I'm just doing it out of fairness. It's like, you don't have to tell us that you're not transphobic. You don't need to tell us that, right? I think that logical, reasonable people know why you're saying this. You're saying this because you are a biological woman, and it's not fair that you have to compete against a biological man. Everybody knows this. 80%. Well, put it. Well,
I'm 100% with Greg. The problem with the situation is you guys keep apologizing for telling people who don't belong in your sport to stay the hell out of your sport. You don't have to apologize to tell a man not to go in the women's restroom. You don't have to apologize to tell some 6'7" dude, hey, you need to stay off the basketball court with a bunch of women unless it's just for recreation. Why are you apologizing? That person knows they're wrong. And when you apologize, what you're doing is telling them, well, there must be some legitimacy to what I'm doing, because if there wasn't, why are they apologizing to me? I'm not apologizing to a man to tell his ass to stay the hell out of women's sports. That's stupid. Hey, dude, you were wrong when you showed up. You were even more wrong when you got on stage. You know you're not supposed to be here. I don't have to apologize. You need to apologize to yourself. Get the hell off the stage. Nobody came here to see you. That's why you had to lie to get in there. And I'm just going to show you that this is crazy to me. So I never really looked up these women's their bench press and their world records, right? So this woman, April Mathis, she holds the record for the heaviest bench press in the world, basically. April Mathis holds the raw bench press world record for women, 207.5 kilograms. That's 457.4 pounds, right? Now let's put that in perspective. This woman this is the heaviest for all women. No woman in the world, as far as we know, is bench pressing more than this. To put this in perspective, this is 315 pounds. I'm obviously a man, right? This is 315 pounds that I have on this bar. And this is 315 pounds I have on this bar. And so her world record lift is about 100 and I don't know math because I went to public school. It's about 145. Let me do the math. I can't add. I don't know why I always lose my ability to add when I'm lifting weights. I'm just like, what? Because the way she's lifting is so awkward. 457. You guys do math. Do math for me. Where's my damn calculator? Okay, so 457 take away 315. Okay, so what she's lifting is about 142 pounds more than what I'm lifting, right? But here's the difference. I can lift 315 like a bunch of times. She can only do 457 once. This is the difference between men and women. She's training her whole life to get to 457. Me, I'm lifting not much under that multiple times with like minimal efforts, and I probably had 2 or 3 more in me, right? You don't go get on stage with a bunch of women. There's no competition. There is no competition between men and women when it comes to lifting weights. Picking up heavy weight and putting it back down, there is no competition in that. Now, there's some, like, if I get on the track with like some super fast Sha'Carri Richards, she'll beat the dog shit out of me. You know, even if I train for 5 years, she'll probably still crush me, right? But when it comes to lifting weights, that to me, that's even more diabolical than a man doing a swimming competition against women or any other sport against women. Lifting weights, you know, they don't even have a chance. That's why he was able to go in there and beat a biological female, and she's been training her whole life, and bro casually shows up and just blows her out of the water. It's sad. It's disgusting. I ain't apologizing to that dude. That dude's wrong as hell. Sticks and Stones, my brother, thank you so much for the $20 holler in the super chat. Dope content, and the last show was fire. I tried to kind of model this show around that show. We didn't get the same outcome, the same amount of people showing up, but I did go kind of late. I went at 7 as opposed to like 4 or 6 when I think most people are watching this channel, but it's okay. It'll be up tomorrow. But bro, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate all the support. It means a lot when we got the smaller streams and I get support. It's definitely encouraging. So I appreciate that. And it's not too late to contribute to the stream, guys. There's Cash App available, PayPal, and a few other donation vehicles. And also, oh, my girl, T. Lee. Thank you, my sister, for the $20 holler in the Cash App. And guys, we're going to keep on spitting. We're going to keep on spitting this news, man. We're going to keep on dropping this news on you guys. We're going to keep chopping it up and posting it. And I have some different ideas to get past the hurdle that's in front of me right now with the content, because a lot of people who want this content are not seeing it. And I did a little tester when I talked about Tariq Nasheed the other day. That was kind of I wanted to talk about it, and it was a little test to see, is it just, hey man, no one's showing up because they just, they're not seeing it, whatever. No. They're seeing it. Because when I talked about Tariq Nasheed, we had 100 people in here, like nothing, like clockwork. Like if we go to the channel right now, you'll see that when I talked about Tariq, because I got a lot of followers during that time when me and Tariq were beefing. If I talk about Tariq, the views just go straight up. And I could get on here and just say, oh, let me talk about Tariq every day, right? The people watching this channel, and I hate that it's that way, but the people watching this channel, they want to hear about racism. pro-black stuff, which is nothing's wrong with that. And I get it. I know what you guys are here for. I know what you want. But guys, we gotta compete with the big boys. You ain't competing with the big boys talking about pro-black stuff. You're not competing with the big boys talking about Tariq. And the funny thing is, you guys are still watching those other channels that aren't talking about that stuff. So, hey, I guess if you guys never want to watch me unless I talk about that, I guess that's the way it is. I guess I'm in it for the pain, as they say. But if you look at the views, I talked about racism. We're at 1.3K views, right? I talked about Tariq, 1.6K views. But if we're talking about political, boom, 25 people watching. We talked about Zoran, 592 views. Anything you talk about that's not like black celebrities, I guess. We talked about Brandon Johnson. He's black. He's getting a little more notoriety among blacks. 1K views. We talked about Epstein. We didn't even hit 1,000. We talked about Charlemagne and Roland Martin. We hit 1,000. We talked about STEMI checks. We know black people love STEMI checks. We hit 2K views, right? So there's certain things we want to, our people want to discuss, right? We got some good turnout too on some other, like black improvement type issues. The old lady getting beat up by the YNs, 1.2 getting robbed, 1.2K views, right? We talk about some other political stuff, Chicago train killer, all this stuff. The views are not so much, but it's just the audience. You can't say algorithm, you have to say audience, because the audience. We talk about Roland Martin, over 1,000 views. See, so I just want you guys to understand. It's not that I don't know what you want to watch. It's just that I'm taking this channel in a totally different I'm moving this channel in a bigger direction. We're gonna get bigger than ever. And you guys will remember this time and be like, man, I remember when Brandon, he went from talking to 200-300 people every show, he went to talking to like 30 people. But just understand, the work works. And I have a plan. And the plan, I have 100% confidence it's gonna work. But do I got a guy doing statistics for me? No, I mean the analytics. You mean I can read them. I now understand what all the analytics mean. I've actually been educating myself about YouTube, and that's why I'm not really tripping. I'm just, I'm honing my skills because I want to be able to compete with the best people out there. Like I sat up last night and learned how to make, really good thumbnails, like the one that's on. Look, I made these 3 thumbnails last night, or 4 now. See, my thumbnails are looking way more professional. I did these myself. I learned how to do these myself. So people just need to find this channel, which they will. I'm going to make sure that they find this channel and things are going to work out. But we're doing good. The views are up. The views on the live streams are up. I don't know how the views on this one might do, but I think it'll do well over the next couple of days. People will come back and they'll find this and say, oh, bro made another live stream. But yeah, so I'm just honing my craft. That's why I'm not even tripping. I'm just getting better at what I do. And you guys will see this channel blowing up with the biggest channels on YouTube pretty soon. And you're going to say, hey, I remember when that dude was out here, because I came back from nothing, bro. I was demonetized almost 2 years. So it doesn't bother me at all. No, I don't care. I mean, somebody who wants to do the statistics for me, that's fine. If recommend them, send their information to my email. I don't mind getting help from people. I don't mind getting help from people, but I see my subscribers are still going up. I lost a lot of subscribers when they were like, we're not getting what we want. They unsubscribed. But guess what? Every subscriber I lost, I gained back. And this is a better these are better subscribers because they're here for the content that I'm trying to make. But I'm very much a person like, if it's not what I want to do, I'm not going to do it, because so much about YouTube is being motivated to keep producing content. And in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to be doing something that I like to do. I put my email in the chat, Zarth. So if you know someone who wants to do the statistics, analytics, and all that. Oh yeah, I got more. Yeah, exactly. Whoever you want to give my information to, I'm gonna. There goes the email link. But since we hit our contribution goal, thanks to a $20 holler from my girl T Lee and a $20 holler from my boy JP from the LB, Sticks and Stones, we're gonna cover this story about this little kid who went to the nail shop. I don't know if his mom took him or what, because I haven't even looked at the video yet, right? But he went wanting to get his nails done, and the nail tech was like, I'm not having it. She was like, I'm not doing this little boy's nails. And 100%, I am in 100% agreement with this lady for not doing this dang on little boy's nails. I don't even know why his mom took him to get his nails done, but hopefully we'll find out in this shorts video. Oh, this is Anton. Anton covered this. I don't want to be poaching Anton's content, but if Buddy don't, let me see. Let's get this guy some truth teller too. This guy clearly, let me see. Do we have any footage of the girl? I'm trying to see this. Where's the original? Is the original on Instagram or what? I mean on TikTok? Okay. I see Anton's thing, but there's an original. There's definitely original on here. I don't see it. I don't see it. So we're just gonna have to use Anton's video. F it.
Acrylics will never be okay in my chair. Sad to say that I just had to turn away a client because she wanted to get her 9-year-old son's nail.
Dang.
A 9-year-old boy getting acrylics will never be okay in my chair. Sad to say that I just had to turn away a client because she wanted to get her 9-year-old son's nails done. And I know and I understand that in today's times, people are who they are, but a 9-year-old boy getting acrylics will never be okay in my chair. I'm so sorry. I had to have words. We went back and forth. But at the end of the day, respect is respect, and we respected each other, and she respected my space. But I'm coming on here to tell you guys this. I will no longer be doing kids' nails under the age of 16 unless you are accompanied by an adult. And I will no longer be doing, not press-ons, I'm sorry. I will be no longer doing acrylics for anyone underneath that age as well. 9 years old, a boy, Frenchies. Absolutely not. Never will happen in my case. We have to think about, guys, people are offing themselves because of being bullied at school. If I put acrylics, because for some reason she just wasn't understanding this, if I put acrylics on your 9-year-old son's nails and he goes to school and he can't just rip those things off, it'll be a mess.
Let me just say this. I'm 100% fully in support.
Yeah. I'm gonna have the same opinion as Anton. Any logical thinking man is gonna have the same stance. What the hell is wrong with these women? Okay, let's say your son is gay, right? Let's say, for example, he is, he's going to end up being someone who lives an alternative lifestyle, right? There are people who don't let their 9-year-old daughters get their nails done unless it's some paint put on their nails at home. Why are you trying to get a 9-year-old boy French tip nails? Like, how does that benefit you? Or a better question, because we know a lot of these chicks don't give a damn about what benefits their kid. How does it benefit your son to get French tip nails? That's what I'm trying to understand. How does it benefit your son? In what way does it enrich his existence to get French tip nails? What is it going to help him do? What is it going to help him accomplish? Nothing. All it is so he can have some cosmetic stuff. But the part that really kills me is that nothing else on the boy is feminine. His haircut is a regular boy haircut. He's wearing regular boy clothes, right? He has nothing else on him that is even remotely resembling something female. So why are you trying to get the French tips put on, bro? You can't tell me this was Halloween. You can't tell me this enriched his life in any way. You're just doing it. And what I tell people is this: a lot of people grow out of things. Like a lot of people grow out of identity disorders. A lot of people who think they're in the wrong body and they were meant to be a man or a woman. I mean, they were meant to be like a woman. A lot of these people grow out of that. A lot of women who think they're men grow out of it. A lot of men who think they're trapped in the wrong body, they grow out of it. I think over like 90% of all cases of identity disorder, they end up growing out of it. They might still choose to live homosexual lifestyle, but they grow out of this idea that I am in the wrong body. No one feels comfortable. Well, many people do, but there's a lot of people who don't feel comfortable in their own skin at a young age. I mean, I've never struggled with that problem, but I remember my aunt when we were growing up, she had a real big issue with being flat-chested at the age of 14. Like, she had no breasts. Like, she was flat. And so she's going to school with these chicks with big titties. And she's like, how come I ain't got no titties? So she would wear big baggy clothes. She would fold her arms up, covering up her boobies. What a little, spider bite she had. She had like a body image, self-image issues, right? But does that mean that we should have told her, well, maybe you're just in the wrong body and maybe you was meant to be a man. So you need to go get a double mastectomy so it could stay flat, and we need to change your name from Crooklyn to Chad. Nah, man, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. But imagine if she grew up in today's day and age, right? Imagine if she grew up in today's day and age. Dude, they would have been trying to give her all types of surgeries and everything else. But thank goodness people had common sense back then. Thank goodness they had common sense back then. So, and now she's like double D's. She's like double D's now. She grew, and so as her breast grew, she grew out of those body image issues. Okay, now I got what everybody else got. That's how it works. You're going to have issues with your body and how you look and all that when you're young because of the certain standards that have been established as the, standard of beauty in how a man's supposed to look, woman's supposed to look. Why are parents trying to alter their children's appearance based on things we all know that young people go through? You're not dumb. You're not new to this. You know that young men and young women are going to have an issue with their body. Even people who are older have issues with their body. So is the answer to that to say, well, that's my baby. And I'm going to try to change and prod and poke and pamper him until he feels good about himself. No, he's never going to feel that way. He's always going to see something wrong because the issue is psychological and you grow out of it. Eventually, he will accept or she will accept whatever they are at a certain age. And if that's a made up, dolled up transsexual, they'll accept that if you allow them to become that and help them become that. But if it's just like, hey, you're a man and this is how men look. And if you like men, that's whatever. But we're not going to turn you into a woman because you're not a woman, right? You could be as feminine as you want to be. You know, I have a nephew, he's gay. And I remind him. Well, I used to remind him. I used to say, hey, you're not a woman, though. You can go put on all the makeup and all this crap you want, but you're not. You're never going to be a woman. I told him, so throw that idea out of your mind today. It don't matter how much mascara and concealer and pimple patches and all this stuff you wear, you will never be a woman. I don't even want you to entertain the idea. You are a man. You're big, you're smelly, and you're ugly. To me, I'm a man. You can get as pretty as you want. You're not going to be a woman. And it's very important that parents and guardians and people in charge of these kids make this stuff clear. Hey, there's nothing wrong with who you are. You may have a sexual preference. You may want to live your life a certain way, but don't ever try to be something you're not, because that's not going to lead you anywhere but down a rabbit hole of depression. You're going to be stressed out, and you might get to the point where you're eventually offing yourself. But see, parents let their kids slide down into that deep dark hole of self-doubt and where they're not happy with themselves. This is you. You know, ain't too many 6'2" women running around. There's some big women, but not a whole lot of them. And you ain't gonna be the fifth one. You ain't gonna be on Santa Monica Boulevard with a wig on and high heels talking about how much you want, baby, how much, what you got, baby. We're not doing that. It's your right to do what you want to do, but it's my right and my obligation to make sure that you stay true to yourself. Because if you don't stay true to your true self, you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to be somebody you're not. And it ain't nothing worse than an old man walking around in a damn dress with fake boobs and a wig on, because in his mind, he's a woman, or he should have been a woman. And you're looking at this dude like, dude, do you really think you look better like that than you do just normal? Just be gay, dude. Just be a bottom. But please stop the act of trying to be a woman. It ain't working for you. And the older you get, the uglier you getting. So just stop. Unless you got money for them to be operating on you like old girl, what's her name? The Kardashian one. I forgot her, the guy who used to be in the Olympics. Unless you got that type of money, go sit down somewhere. And that's what the mama should be saying. You could be a flashy, nice looking little gay dude. Okay, do your thing. But going as far as to try to take somebody to get nails done, hell to the no. Hell to the no. You wrong. And it's mama wrong. And a lot of these women shouldn't even be having kids.
Yo, I have a question, everybody. Was this nail tech grown for standing on business when she refused to put acrylic nails on a 9-year-old boy? Take a listen to her story.
A 9-year-old boy getting acrylics will never be okay in my chair. Sad to say that I just had to turn away a client because she wanted to get her 9-year-old son's nails done. And I know and I understand that in today's times, people are who they are, but a 9-year-old boy getting acrylics will never be okay in my chair. I'm so sorry. I had to have words. We went back and forth, but at the end of the day, respect is respect, and we respected each other, and she respected my space. But I'm coming on here to tell you guys this. I will no longer be doing kids' nails under the age of 16 unless you are accompanied by an adult. And I will no longer be doing, not press-ons, I'm sorry. I will be no longer doing acrylics for anyone underneath that age as well. 9 years old, a boy, Frenchies. Absolutely not. Never will happen in my case. We have to think about, guys, people are offing themselves because of being bullied at school. If I put acrylics, because for some reason she just wasn't understanding this, if I put acrylics on your 9-year-old son's nails and he goes to school and he can't just rip those things off, it'll be a mess. If he goes and get bullied, he might come and despise me in the next couple of years, and he will never forget me. He will never forgive me because it happened at such a young age and he doesn't know anything about forgiveness. Like, it gets to a point, man. And I'm not in this chair as much as I used to be, thank God. But I do know the clients that I will and will not take. And that's something I just will not accept. And I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I understand that she was just trying to be a good parent and support her child. And I do know, because I am a lesbian, I do know that mothers, parents know how their child is going to end up, without saying too many words, before they come out and say it. This little boy isn't going around wearing wigs. He's not going around skirts and squirts. No, he still looks like a presentable little boy. He has a little sass to him, but I think any little boy or any kid that grows up in a household with just his mother or aunts would end up to be. That doesn't make him quote unquote anything.
Now, the whole thing is this. So we got the video in its entirety. And the crazy thing is this. You don't know how a kid is going to turn out. Okay. There's kids who grow up in 2-parent homes, mother and father loving. They end up being gay, lesbian, whatever. Right. But here's the thing. A lot of times children will test their parents to see what type of behavior their parents validate and encourage. Right. If that boy say, mama, I want to play football. You ain't going out there to play football. You ain't about to get hurt out there. That's my baby. I don't want him to break his ankle or hurt, get hit, all that. No, mama don't want you to do the boy stuff. But then you say, well, mama, I want to get some French tips, mama. Okay, baby, mama going to take you to go get them French tips. Go back in the past of every gay male. Every gay male. You will see where that dude had a moment where he tested his parents' reaction to him being gay or being curious to something that was considered, feminine or a behavior that's attributed to females. It's across the board. And the way his parents react to that has a lot to do with what this boy continues to do. I have a cousin named TJ, right? This dude is the only boy. Bro got 4 sisters. 4 sisters. This man talked like a straight queer. Brandon, like a female. If you ask me, he acts, he talks like a female. When we were younger, he would kind of carry himself in a feminine way. When I tell you bro is not gay, bro, I done been in the house where bro dogging some shit out. Every time I used to see bro got a different girlfriend. He messed with this girl, that girl. I'm talking about he the type of dude that go wait at a chick job for her to get off work. Okay, one of them type of dudes. Like, oh, I'm just up here chilling to babe, get off. I'm like, you at this girl job, just waiting outside till she get off work on an 8-hour shift. All right, bro, you crazy, right? Never in my life have seen him or been around him where he did something that even remotely made me think he was gay. He's on the females. But if you just met bro and talked to him for 10, 15 minutes and just his mannerisms, you'd be like, bro is gay. But no, I bet you there were a lot of people who thought that this dude was going to be gay when he grew up. Bro grew up in a 2-parent home with his mom and his daddy and his 4 sisters. And he just, a lot of the characteristics of females, he picked up on them because he was in a house full of women, 5 women, 2 dudes, daddy always at work. But this dude is just not, he's not attracted to men. Bro be doing guy shit. He didn't went to jail and got into it with dudes and, then tripped out on dudes and all types of stuff. But just every time I saw bro, it was like female. Now I have another homie. That dude was a pimp. Pimping chicks. That dude is now wearing dresses, prostituting. This dude was the super pimp Mac. Yeah, bro, cuz I got these hoes down. They on the blade, 10 toes. All this. That dude is wearing dresses now. Walking around downtown Long Beach. I kid you not. He's walking around downtown Long Beach with a dress, fatter than a motherfucker, because he used to be in good shape, just big and fat, with a dress and a wig on, picking up tricks. LA, Long Beach, wherever he be at. I mean, I see him, I still show him love. That's my dog. But it's crazy. You don't know how anybody's going to turn out. You don't know how anybody's going to turn out. That's why it's very important to let people grow on their own. Let people arrive at where they're going on their own. Encourage, but don't push. Encourage, but don't force. Don't coerce. Don't coerce. It's a lot of women out here who wanted to have a daughter and end up having a son, and they'll do little things to make their son act like a female. I've seen it. I've seen women dress little boys up like girls. I've seen women grow out, I've seen women grow out little boys' hair like a female so they could comb it and brush it and put a barrette in it and braid it and all this mess. When I see women with these little boys and their hair all long, nah, she wanted a daughter. She wanted a daughter. And that's why she letting this boy hair grow like that so she could pretend like she got a daughter doing his hair, right? So across the board, let people grow at their own pace, at their own, in whatever direction they want. And as a parent, you're simply supposed to be there to encourage them, give them support, answer questions honestly, right? Oh, people are who they are. Woo, woo, woo. Yes. You are who you are, but you're not a woman. You are who you are, but you're not a man. That is already determined in the womb. Ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do. You could cut, prop, poke, twist, burn, sever, whatever. You're a man. You're a woman. No matter what, you ain't gonna grow no ovaries. And girl, you ain't gonna grow no testicles. So you better be happy with what you are and then live your life how you want to. But it's so sad to see this world where it's gotten so bad to where you got people who are promoting this stuff. And man, if you don't really know how bad this could get, go to a country like Brazil. They think a dude with fake boobs, a transsexual, they think that's revolutionary. They'll tell you, hey, bro, this is the revolution. What? Some transsexual chicks with dicks is revolutionary? But that just shows you how far a society can fall. And once they started talking like that, Brazil went downhill. Used to be Brazil used to be a really good country, but now it's just down in the tank. It's been overrun by criminals. A criminal stole the election. They let him out of jail, installed him as president, and the country been going downhill ever since. Zarth, right? Worse in Thailand, right? Trust me, you think it's bad now. It's nowhere near as bad as it can get. Go to those countries and you're gonna see how bad it can get. That's why I'm telling you now. Save your kids. Save yourself. Your kids, love them enough to be honest with them. Love them enough to keep it real with them. Don't encourage dysmorphia and identity disorder. Don't affirm that. Be honest with them. And at the end of the day, they'll thank you. They'll thank you. They'll say, hey, thank you for like keeping it real with me. Because if you don't let them know, the world is going to let them know for sure. I see these celebrities and stuff. They kids in dresses and all that. Look, they're celebrities. They kids ain't never got to work. Magic Johnson's son, EJ, he ain't never had a job. Because he wants to be a 6'5" dude wearing heels. Never had a job and probably ain't never gonna need one. He's a multimillionaire. His daddy can tell him where to put his money and all this stuff. When his daddy died, he gonna be even richer. You're not in that position. I know people transgender gone in the mind, can't even work a job. They so gone. Can't even work a job because nobody hire them. They look in a mess and mentally they're in shambles. Don't do that to your kid, man. Give your kid a chance. And what that lady was doing, she was still in that boy's life. His own mama, she was basically ready to give him a life sentence. And let me tell you, I promise you, she went somewhere else and got his nails done. An Asian would have threw them French tips right on there. They wouldn't have gave a damn. It's sad to see people's parents setting them up like that. You're supposed to protect your kid, not push him further down into the rabbit hole of psychosis. But man, let me know what you think about that in the comments. Grabbing gears. In what way did I disappoint you? I'm interested in this comment. You want to come up here and tell me how I disappointed you? I love this kind of stuff. People talk about how I disappointed them. Just tell me how I disappointed you. I give the same content, give the same commentary. My opinions aren't going to change for the most part. He said unsubscribed, but I'm back. Don't disappoint again, bro. Yeah, I don't know about that. But you're more than welcome. I'll give you 2 minutes to come up here and tell me how I disappointed you. If you're a truck driver, you definitely need to be watching this channel because I always show my truck drivers love. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all be on that long haul. Sometimes I stay on a little bit longer just because I know y'all out there driving. If I could get you through 2-3 hours of the trip and share this with your other truck drivers. If I can help you get through 2-3 hours of the trip, give you the daily news, because I know you can't be watching TV and stuff with them tattlers in the with the tattlers in the car. So I'm always showing love to the truck drivers. But guys, I got to get out of here. I got some mouths to feed right now. It's been real. Hey, what y'all think? Y'all think we should try to do a show in the morning? What y'all think about trying to throw a live stream up in the morning around, let's say, 9 a.m. my time? That'll be like 12 a.m. on the East and like 11 a.m. in the Midwest. What y'all think? Do it, yay or nay? Because I'm in the mood to create some content, baby. This is getting spliced up tonight, but I got a secret on where I'm gonna send it. I'm not gonna tell nobody because I got a plan going into the first year. Y'all, hey, look, I'm a problem solver by nature. I mean, men, we're all supposed to be. I'm a problem solver. I got a problem, and more of my intellect is starting to, move towards solving this issue with the social media, with the YouTube stuff. So I'm predicting some major changes. I'm predicting some big changes and some big leaps and bounds, man. I feel like now is the first time I've really took time to just say, hey, let me learn how this really works. Let me learn how to build a channel. Before I was just talking to an audience, and we have a lot in common and we agreed on a lot of things. But I'm trying to bring a bigger audience. I want all the audience. I don't want a segment. They talk about find a niche. I don't want a niche per se. I want to have all the minds in the room. One thing, people got to witness when I was at No Jumper is like, hey, this guy might talk a lot of trash on his YouTube channel in the comfort of his own home, but his opinions and perspective travels well. I go to No Jumper. This is a 5 million subscriber channel. nobody on there was beating me in no debate, or I didn't feel like nobody in there was like more knowledgeable than me on more topics and subjects than me. Like, nah. But I still want to keep that conversational, tone, like just talking with my audience, because they're saying that this is starting to take over the YouTube, the social media space, where the host just talks and interact with his audience. I got no problem. Like my boy Zarth, Zarth always in the building, throwing out good feedback, letting the brother know. Shout out to you, Rotten Roll. Shout out to you, Gog, No Magog. You got to be a Bible reader to understand that handle. Game Recognized Game is back in the building. Haven't seen bro for a minute, but he's back. I see my OGs sliding back up in here. Shout out to person in chat. I see y'all. Sticks and Stones, LAT Lee up in the building. She likes to operate behind the scenes. Azazel is day ones, man. Africulture Juggernaut in the building. I see y'all in here, and I'm happy to have y'all. I'm glad y'all found y'all way back. 55512 Kevin, what's up? I appreciate everybody who watching my stream, and this is kind of where I started though, like 20 people watching, and it just built up, and it got to where it was a lot of people watching. So I've been here before, but I'm definitely able to. Hey, First Sergeant in the building, my girl. I'm coming back to Chicago. I think you got my number. Text me. I'm gonna tell you the dates. I ain't gonna announce it on here, but I'm gonna tell you the dates. And I'm bringing the fam too, so you can meet all of them. Oh yeah, no problem. Do what you can. But let me tell you something. Even when I go live at night, like 6 p.m., 4 p.m., my audience is primarily on YouTube between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So I already know if I go live at like 2 p.m. every day or 12 p.m. every day, I'll get more viewers. But for me right now, it's not about that. It's about me learning how to work the system to get the desired result. And it's working. America First Rifleman has sent me like $10 on the Cash App a couple weeks back. I hope bro's coming back, man. I don't know where he's at, but I hope he's doing well wherever he is. Real talk. And I'm about to get real active on the Discord. I'm really treating YouTube more like a job now than ever. Hey, shout out, cuz. My cousin's in the building. She heard he coming back to Chicago. We got some restaurants to hit, cuz. I didn't hit all the ones I wanted to like I wanted to. I didn't get no Connies. I gotta get me some Connies. I think I want to go back to Pole Town. I don't know. I might have to slide back to Rico Benny's. Love you, cuz. I love my cousin. I'm absolutely crazy about my cousin. I take every chance to go visit her. My other cousin, her son, my kinfolk went down there. My auntie, she hooked it up with some food. I was happy. Good boy. Woo. Listen, I had Thanksgiving already. Hey, I had Thanksgiving already. My auntie hooked it up. Greens, yams, meatloaf, cornbread, all of that. Mac and cheese. I had all that at the beginning of the month. Okay. Handle it. Wait, real sergeant, you about to be where for the next week? Okay, you in Atlanta. Yeah, you about to be out there for the holidays. Hey, that's the cool thing about like the Midwest and like the South. Midwest to me is the perfect place to live. You like 2 hours from everywhere. You like 4 hours from Cali, and then you like 2 hours from Atlanta. I mean, the Midwest is the place. That's like a good location to a good starting place for wherever you want to go. I really like it. The more I go there, the more I like it. And it's just a good change from like Cali, the West Coast. West Coast is cool. This will always be home, but I really like it out there in Indiana, man. Small town, feel like I'm in Stranger Things when I'm over there. Just peaceful, little kids running around. I guess maybe I'm just getting old. You feel me? Lots of black folks. You know what I'm saying? Low crime rate. No crime rate damn near. It's all good, man. But yeah, I think that's a good place to start off. But have a safe trip to Atlanta, cuz I'm gonna see you. You already know when. I gave you the dates. And guys, listen, I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Let me get off of this thing so I could keep with tradition right now. Make these thumbnails, make these clips, Stranger Things, all this shit, Smallville, what I mean, it's a bunch of all the if you notice all the like Netflix shows and stuff, they take place in the Midwest. Like that's America, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, cuz we gonna do it, cuz I'm gonna be with y'all on New Year. Well, let me stop giving my dates away. But we got some time when we gonna be hanging out around some holiday festivities, and I definitely plan on. We definitely gonna do it up. We gonna do something real nice and cool. You know, that's my goal. That's what I want to do. But and then y'all got to come out here too for the summer. I want y'all to come out here in the summer. But yeah, hey, 100%. The Midwest is America. That's like the America. If you really want to know what they be like when these politicians is talking to the American people, they talking to the Midwest, like middle America. Because the coast, we got like you on one coast, you red, you on another coast, you blue. But the middle America, that's where there's a lot of change. Places like Ohio, Michigan. I think Michigan went red. Wisconsin, right? That's where a lot of decisions about which way this country is going to go are made. Donnie, what up? Blitz in the building. Bucci, you stupid as hell. Hey, man, look, we up in here, man. I think I was competing with no jumper too, but it's all good. I ain't tripping. We gonna be up there. Watch, y'all gonna see, man. I'm running this shit. Y'all see some of these channels, 900,000 views on one video. That's where I want to get to this with this channel. But it takes a lot of consistency and work. And I haven't got to the point where I'm ready to like live at my computer yet. This chair is very comfortable, but it's not ideal for sitting for 3, 4, 5 hours. I think I might get me a standing desk. Oh, yeah. Tuesday show was kind of sad today. But whatever. I didn't watch it. I saw a clip. Somebody sent me a clip, so I watched a little bit of it. But I sent them a super chat with some topic ideas, but I don't know if they listen. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, do me a favor. Take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.